I guess I just want to spend this video thanking you guys because we just recently passed 600 subscribers on YouTube, and that is just a huge milestone for me because if you didn't know, it was a little bit before January of earlier this year where I really wanted to start taking YouTube seriously. So up until this point, I've just been working hard on making the best videos that I could and trying my best to sort of just find something that really works best for the content that I want to make, which is talking about my favorite shows and sort of breaking them down as well. So I wanted to thank you guys so much for that because it really means a lot to me. And I think the second thing, and the big one for this one, is I want to thank specifically a community out there that is one of the most wholesome, caring, compassionate fans that I have ever interacted with, and that is the Bungo Stray Dogs community. You guys are amazing. Not only did I make 3 videos on Bungo Stray Dogs, but you guys showed up and gave your support for it. My first video that I made just talking about my thoughts on season 5, you guys have almost hit 9,000 views on that. And then my second video hit 10,000 views. And then my Bungo Stray Dogs tier list, which is over an hour, I mind you. It is over an hour and it almost has 1,000 views. That is insane to me. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for not only showing up and giving those videos your attention, but also your support in the comments. You guys have watched the videos, and although I do clickbait you and that is on me, you guys watch the videos throughout and actually want to have conversations about what makes Bungo Stray Dogs so great, especially with that 5th season. That 5th season was just perfection. And I think today, like for this video at least, I kind of just want to talk just sort of about Bungo Stray Dogs, the fandom, and why personally I think Bungo Stray Dogs has one of the best fandoms in all of anime. And yes, this title was also clickbait, because although I do feel that anime fandoms can be very toxic at times, this is one of the rare exceptions where everyone that I've really interacted with has been very positive. And I think it's due in part because Bungo Stray Dogs is very niche, at least when compared to very very mainstream shows out right now, like Demon Slayer, One Piece, Bleach. This one goes very much under the radar for many people. And although I do think it is tragic because not many people understand how great the show is with its characters, its power sets, just the story itself. I'm glad that we are also the most, interconnected because there's less of us compared to like the bigger fandoms out there. And I also want to talk about, I think, sort of just a comparison really quickly between just an example of why I think our community is so very wholesome compared to the One Piece community, which I don't like to associate. I mean, I love One Piece. I'm a One Piece fan. I have made several videos on One Piece. I even dressed up as Luffy for Halloween. That's how big of a One Piece fan I am. But I don't like associating with the fan base, if I'm going to be completely honest, because honest to God, I think that it is so toxic. And I have personal experience on that because if you go to my YouTube video, because it's open to the public, I'd like you to do an experiment for yourself. I want you to click on a Bungo Stray Dogs video I had made earlier, like mainly the first 2, so don't watch this overrated trash or this ending is disgusting, which very clickbaity titles, mind you. And I also want you to click on one of the One Piece and just scroll through the comments, and you'll notice something. A lot of people with the Bungo Stray Dogs video, it was actually kind of a funny joke that I was seeing constantly mentioned, was people were gonna write like a whole-on essay to me because I was apparently trashing the show based on my clickbait title. But when they watched the video, and they watched the video throughout, they were like, deletes essay. I had so many comments about that. and all the comments were talking about like the points I made about how awesome the show is, how amazing season 5 was, specifically the finale too. It was probably one of the best season finales I have seen. It is up there with I think up there in terms of like great season finales with, I think, Yu Yu Hakusho, Love is War season 3, I think Attack on Titan season 3, that's also a pretty great finale too. So you have so many great finales, and Bungo Stray Dogs is up there. But then when I'm talking about sort of One Piece, and I do the same thing, I clickbaited them, but when you watch the video, I'm very much praising the show. I'm talking about the things I love and like actually defending the show in a certain aspect, because I'm like, look, if you're going into the live action One Piece expecting the anime, you're going to be disappointed, because they do take some creative liberties, and you just kind of have to understand that that is done because the medium is different. And I got a lot of people talking shit. And I'm just like, what, did you watch the video? And you think that a fan base whose show is over 1,000 episodes, so a lot of episodes to sit through, would finish a 2-minute video, but they didn't. That's just mind-boggling to me. And so, I guess like the thing I wanted to talk about here, just talking about One Piece and Bungo Stray Dogs, is although One Piece has the bigger fandom, it literally had a float during the Macy's Day Parade for Thanksgiving. That's how big it was. One Piece is a phenomenon that we're seeing where anime is becoming more and more mainstream, and One Piece is now getting up there in terms of just conversations, because Gear 5 just made waves. Now you have the floats, now you have the live action. More people are talking about One Piece. Meanwhile, Bungo Stray Dogs over here, it really is the dedicated, loyal fans who continue to watch this show, or people who stumble upon this show and watch it and realize how amazing it is and binge it through all the way. Because and I think that's very telling of sort of the response to my videos and sort of the conversations and interactions I've had just in general. Because when we talk about Bungo Stray Dogs, we talk about just, I guess, what makes and this, I guess, ties into Thanksgiving too, which is also very fitting. I guess what makes these characters amazing, what like their interactions with each other, just finding purpose within themselves, overcoming different challenges. Everyone has their own complex backstory to them to sort of explain why they do what they do, and the fact that they're also based off authors and their powers are based off their works too, or inspired off their works, is just amazing. And I think that's why I think Bungo Stray Dogs is just such a phenomenal show and has such a phenomenal fan base, is because we understand these nuances. We sort of have conversations about sort of like Sigma's whole dilemma with being a person created by the page, which is already just the MacGuffin of, yeah, let's, what if we give our enemies one of the most overpowered things in all of anime, something that could rewrite reality itself. Plus also like a sword that can travel both through space and time and give it to both the Decay of Angels. That's insane to me. I was like, I don't know how the Armed Detective Agency is getting out of this one, if I'm going to be completely honest. Plus the One Order too. You have like the One Order there too. Like they did not hold back with their MacGuffins and gave it to, of course, the enemies. But what I love about this show is, despite all of this, they managed to make everything seem grounded still. Specifically with the character of Sigma and the page and his relationship with Fyodor, Nikolai, and eventually Dazai. Now, one of my favorite moments was actually the whole Fyodor versus Dazai prison break scene, because it screams Bungo Stray Dogs, because you have the two of them bantering about like, oh, let's inject ourselves, you'll have the antidote, Nikolai, and let's race out of here so one of us goes. And both of them voluntarily do this. to the fact where Sigma is like, what's wrong with these people? Like, I felt bad for Sigma in that instance because it's three madmen, basically a free-for-all, like going after each other. And it's funny because Sigma is, although he is made from the page, he is not a real person. He's the most sane out of the group. And I don't know, I just love that, sort of that moment where it's just like, yeah, like Dazai's more than perfectly fine with almost killing himself if it means taking out Fyodor. And yeah, I don't know, I just thought that was amazing. But like stuff with like, but what I love is like you have funny moments like that, which could in most anime, when they have funny moments where they try to insert humor, it really can make or break the show because it could ruin some tense moments if you focus too much on the comedy, if you're more of a drama-based show. But here, that's not the case. What Bungo Stray Dogs does, it really has its own specific style of humor, and I love it to death. It is very much, I guess, a very pessimistic, very nihilistic type of humor, because it talks about like Dazai's whole bit is that he wants to commit suicide. Like, that's not that shouldn't be funny, but what they do with it is it's a very nuanced way where it brings more, I guess, more like in-depth writing to the forefront of Dazai's character, because you learn about who he was in the past, how he did at one point was a member of the Port Mafia. And it is also very much inspired based on the author and his work that Dazai is based off of, like the actual guy. So you have all these moving parts of like the funny humor, but then you also have some very heavy hitting moments, very, very dramatic moments. And because they do, I guess, because they have such, I guess, nihilistic humor in Bungo Stray Dogs, it blends so well when it very much gets very, moments get very tense, stakes are raised very much to the point where you think that these characters at any moment could die, that this could be the end for them. This could very much be the case. That's what I love about this show, and I'm going on a tangent here, but the main reason why I want to talk about this moment is because I want to talk about Dazai and Sigma's interactions with each other, and how Sigma is very much just lost at this point in the story. And that's what I love so much is I thought he was going to be a throwaway villain. Like when you were introduced to the casino in the sky and how he's just running, I'm blanking on the name already. I thought they were just going to be like, oh yeah, they're going to beat him, they're going to stop him, and that's going to be it. But then they have this whole reveal that he was created by the page, and he literally has nothing else, no other purpose than protecting this casino in the sky. And it almost reminds me of Atsushi, where he also was struggling with no purpose. He needed to find himself because he was an orphanage. He was an orphan who was kicked from his orphanage and he had nowhere else to go, and he was literally going to starve to death in episode 1. And I really got sort of this parallel with Sigma here, and how Dazai, like what he did with Atsushi, is he basically said, oh, like, you need to sort of find your own purpose, like join the armed detective agency, help us out, help us stop the decay of angels, and find your purpose here. And I thought that was amazing, especially with, although it did not work out for Sigma, as we saw at the end with him being stabbed by Fyodor, which that was a low blow. Fyodor, like, just faking the like altars, that was messed up. I hope that wasn't the end for Sigma, because it really showed like sort of a turning point in his character where he's like, I can join the armed detective agency, and the biggest thing that I feared the most was being controlled by people, whether it was Fyodor, Nikolai, or Dazai. But what Dazai really helps him learn is that, no, if you join the armed detective agency, you can find purpose. You can like truly find yourself, because we will be there to support you and not use you. You are not tools. you are another person. And that actually is why he wins in the end. That's why he beats Fyodor. It's because Fyodor's whole thing and what makes him such a terrifying enemy is that he controls all the pieces. He is the game master. Everything that happens is because of him. Like the fact that he was able to communicate with the decay of angels and his plans while being in prison, mind you, a high security facility, just goes to show how insanely meticulous he is with his planning. And the fact that and the only way that Fyodor was outmatched is because Dazai, although he also made some plans, he put some things into motion. What he did was he made sure that some of the pieces that he put out were very much wild cards. I guess that's the best way to describe it, because his thing is that he's gonna put his trust into people. And that was the whole, I guess, thematic element of sort of at least this side story in season 5. And that's why I loved it so much, was sort of just relying on people. And although, yes, he did have his hands, for example, he was working with, I'm blanking on his name. He's working with that one person who was working in the government and ended up basically saving the detective agency in their moment of need. Here, Ongo, that's his name, Ongo. The fact that he had Ongo helping him, working with him to sort of set up the pieces. He did not have his hands on what was going on with sort of just everything around it. Like, for example, I think the biggest wild card was actually one. It was Atsushi. We didn't really expect him to do much and have that much of an impact on the final moments. Because if you really think about Atsushi, he doesn't really do much except for the very end when he convinces when he eventually convinces Teruko to not only finish it was such a good moment. It was so sad to finish the final blow against Fukuchi and basically kill him so that that Fukuzawa could basically become the hero, so he was going to become a martyr basically. And so that was all because of Atsushi and him basically talking to Teruko about the plans. And even he had a moral dilemma about that. Just like small moments like that. You also had a big moment later on where the person that was saved by Kunakita saved, the person that Kunakita saved, that little girl, I'm blanking on her name right now, I'm trying to find her name, but her whole thing with the vampire, with Bram, I don't know why I said the vampire, I know his name's Bram, her whole thing with Bram, and literally she was the MVP. She saved Bram from the sword so he can basically regain control of the vampires, and that's what ends up basically defeating Fyodor in the end. Just stuff like that, where it's just putting your trust in other people even though you don't have your hands on it, on all the pieces, is what actually outdoes Fyodor and actually leads to his supposed death. I personally don't think he's dead. I think it's a fake out because we still have yet to know his power. There's no way. And plus season 6, they're introducing some interesting things here and there, so we'll see where they take the story from there. But in terms of I guess the rest of the story, just for example, Bungo Stray Dogs has from the start been about sort of the Darum Detective Agency and the Port Mafia having sort of conflict, but also helping each other in times of need. And it does fall into the trope that I do love personally, where it's like the hero and villain must team up momentarily to defeat a greater threat. And that does happen with the guild, and that was so hype, by the way. That was amazing. When they had to face down against Fitzgerald and stuff. But what I think, at the end of the day, and I've been talking for a while now about sort of just, I guess, fandoms in general, but what I love about Bungo Stray Dogs is it not only does it have an amazing fandom, not only is it an amazing show, but the animation has always been just spectacular. The story has always been on point. The characters have been amazing. And the fact that they are 5 seasons in, and they got me. There were lots of plot twists within the final episodes of season 5 that I did not see coming, and the character relationships that just came out of nowhere, that between like Fukuchi and Fukuzawa, that was just incredible. It remains to be, I think, one of the best anime, and I think if you haven't if you clicked on this video accidentally and you don't know what Bungo Stray Dogs is or what it is, I would highly recommend this, because if you're just kind of off put by, I guess, cringy anime fans, like My Hero fans, Attack on Titan fans, One Piece fans, Demon Slayer fans, there's just no end to just the amount of cringe out there. Give the show a shot, because the fan base is niche enough where we'll be talking about why we love this show, why this show's amazing. We'll be supportive of each other. And it's just, I love Bungo Stray Dogs. That's, I guess, the moral of this video. And I am thankful that I am a Bungo Stray Dogs fan. And I am a part of the Bungo Stray Dogs fandom rather than some of these other shows here. So what did you guys think of this video? I just wanted to give my thoughts about why I'm thankful that Bungo Stray Dogs exists. What's your favorite moment of being a Bungo Stray Dogs fan? Is it the fandom? Is it just the characters? The fact that you can see lots of amazing fan art on TikTok? Very wholesome moments too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I think that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to talk about this because Bungo Stray Dogs, amazing. Love it. Yeah.